With the 2021-2022 NBA season coming up very soon, I decided now is as good of a time as any to start talking about every single team before the season starts. Decided it made the most sense to go in the order from the worst to the best teams in the NBA, kind of like my own predictions for this upcoming season. I'm finally at the top 5 teams in the league, and right now I'm at the number 5 spot. At the number 5 spot, I have the Golden State Warriors, meaning I think the Warriors will be the 5th best team in the NBA this upcoming season. Today's video, I'll basically just be discussing the Warriors, how good I think they will do this season, along with how good I think individual players will do, things like that. Before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want to help me reach my goal of 2,000 subscribers. Also, drop a comment on this video as I do respond to all of my comments. But quickly before we get into the video, I gotta show you this really quickly. This is the new diversion water bottle. It's basically a water bottle where you can put stuff like your keys, wallet, and other kind of small items like in your water bottle that will make you lose it way less. And it will also just help you to not have your pockets full and things like that. Click the link in my bio if you're interested, and into the video. When it comes to the offensive side of the floor, I definitely think the Warriors will be much improved from last season. Last year they were an average to below average offense. The only reason they were even average was because of Steph Curry being so great. Without him, they would be one of the worst offenses in not just the league, but the league's history, which was a big reason they didn't make the playoffs, because whenever Steph was not on the court, they were absolutely horrible on offense. But this season, I definitely think they're going to be way better than being a middle of pack offense. I think they could probably even be a top 5 offense, or at worst like a top 10 offense in the league. It's because guys like Poole is definitely going to have a much improved season. I think he's going to continue to be great for this team. They're obviously getting Klay Thompson back, and he's a second best great shooter in NBA history, in my opinion at least. So he's definitely going to draw a lot of attention from the defense, which is definitely going to make things easier for Steph Curry. I also feel like Wiseman will be better than he was in his rookie season. They also have Kaminga and Moody, who are 2 guys who I think can contribute at a decent level as rookies. They're definitely going to be led by Steph Curry, who's arguably the best player in the NBA. To be honest, I definitely got to talk about Klay Thompson, because I'm not going to lie. A lot of Warriors fans have been acting like Klay, like when he returns, he's going to play like as good as he was before, or even better. And I simply don't think that's going to happen at all. Klay is a great shooter, and he's probably going to shoot close to like his normal 3-point percentage, because I don't think him hurting his leg is going to affect his jump shot that much. But where I do think it's going to affect him is as a defender. And a big reason to why Klay is was viewed as like an all-star and great player was because he was one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. I'm not saying I think Klay is going to come back and be washed up or a bum, or not even. I think he'll be close to what he was before, but I think he's going to be like the second best shooter in NBA history, along with being just an average defender. I don't think Klay's going to be the exact same guy he was before, especially not in the first year coming off of an injury. Maybe 2 years from now he'll be back to normal. Guess we'll have to see. Maybe I can be proven wrong. I'm definitely not a Klay Thompson hater. How can you hate Klay Thompson? I'm just trying to give my own opinion, and I don't think he's going to be as good as he was. I also want to talk about Draymond Green. I think he's just really important to this team. There's not really much to say. There is a chance that Draymond gets worse, because he's kind of been on the decline the last few years, but last season he kind of upped his play a little bit. He obviously wasn't going to go back to 2016 Draymond, because that guy was a legit top 15 player in the NBA, but I think he will play at around the same level he did last season. And I just think he's going to get up, maybe even more assists. Maybe he could even lead the league in assists when he has Klay Thompson back. To be honest, I think he's just going to be great next season. Not too much worries about Draymond. I also have to talk about Poole, because he's definitely a guy who I think will be in the conversation for the most improved player award, as he will be going into his 3rd season. At the end of last season, he was really stepping up for the Warriors, and he showed a lot of development, and he was a really big reason to why they made that push for the 8th seed. I definitely think he's going to break out this season, be a great scorer. Steve Kerr has said that he doesn't think Poole will be coming off the bench even when Klay Thompson returns. But if he comes off the bench, I think he could be in the 6th man of the year conversation. But nonetheless, I think he's going to be their 3rd or 4th best scorer on this team. And I think in a couple all-star level player. I also want to talk about James Wiseman, who a lot of people are overreacting to about his rookie season. He literally was a rookie and he was getting inconsistent minutes because the Warriors like to run a lot of small ball, and he was a rookie going on to a team that was really trying to make the playoffs. He definitely was not in the easiest situation. I think as he gets more comfortable in the NBA and just in general, he's just gonna be like way better and like just show the true potential that he has in my eyes, and that potential is an all-star. I don't think he's gonna be an all-star level player next season, but I definitely think he could be a solid starter center if he's going to be the starter. Nonetheless, I think James Wiseman has pretty solid potential, and I expect him to take some leaps in like his defense and his just IQ, because that stuff was definitely holding him back, and maybe he has a rebounder as well, because I think he probably got bigger. To quickly talk about some of the other Warriors players who I didn't really feel like talking about that much, Andrew Wiggins, I think at this point is just a solid starter in the NBA. I don't think he's going to improve significantly this year. Maybe he could, since Klay Thompson is going to be drawing a lot of more attention from him, but I think he's just going to be a solid starter. This guy who averages 16 and 18 points while being a great defender. They also signed Andre Iguodala, and I don't think he's anything close to his prime self, but he's still a solid perimeter defender and a good secondary ball handler and playmaker. They also signed Otto Porter Jr., who so far in the preseason has been shooting over 50% from 3. Don't forget, when Otto was healthy, he was a top 10 shooter in the NBA. He's just been dealing with injuries for the last few years, but if he's healthy, the Warriors have one of the best shooters in the league on their team. They also have Toscano Anderson, who definitely showed out at the end of last season, just being a player with good defense and good playmaking, and he just has a knack for being in the right places at the right time. I think he'll definitely carve out a role for himself. When it comes to the rookies like Jonathan Kaminga and Moody, I'm not gonna lie, there's a chance that both of those guys just get put to the bench, especially Jonathan Kaminga, because he's a really raw prospect, and I think he's gonna need like a guy who's gonna need to get like play time, and like in that play time make a bunch of mistakes, and right now I don't think the Warriors will allow him to do that, so there's a chance he might not be a great factor on this team, at least this season. When it comes to Moody, I actually think he has a better chance to be a part of the rotation consistently, not because he's a better prospect than Kaminga, but because he's a guy who coming to the NBA looks like he can shoot the ball at a good level and play solid defense, and there's always a place for that on the team. But nonetheless, this is a Warriors team that I think has incredible depth, especially from last season. Last year they had one of the worst depth in the whole NBA, and this season they arguably might have the best depth in the NBA, and they just have so much shooters alongside the two greatest shooters in NBA history. In my opinion, I think that's just a formula for a top 5 offense in the league. When it comes to the defensive side of the floor, I actually think the Warriors will be very elite. I don't know if they're going to be a top 5 defense like they probably will be on offense, but I definitely think they're a top 10 defense in the NBA. This is mainly due to the fact that last season their defense was better than their offense, because last season their defense was top 10 in the league, and at certain points in the season they had a top 5 defense. They didn't really lose any of their main defenders, and they're actually going to be adding some guys who are great on defense like Otto Porter, Iguodala, and Klay Thompson, along with others. So I definitely think this is a team that will all around be around the same level they were defensively last year, if not a little bit better. This is just a team filled with a bunch of solid defenders, and they have Steve Kerr, who's one of the best coaches when it comes to defensive schemes. The only problem is that at the center position they have James Wiseman, who's not a great defender, and that will lead to them having to play Kevon Looney a lot more, and he's not really good on offense. But nonetheless, I still think they're going to be good on defense, because when you just have as much perimeter defenders as they have, in like Iguodala, Wiggins, Avery Bradley, Klay Thompson, Juan Toscano Anderson, and their two rookies who are projected to be good on defense in Moody and Jonathan Kaminga, I think that's just a formula for a top 10 to 5 defense in the NBA. To answer the question of why the Warriors are number 5 on my list, simply due to the fact that I think the Warriors are legit title contenders. Like, I could really see them winning the championship this year. I think they can beat any team in the NBA, because we just have that much shooting and are really good on defense, along with having a top 3 player in the NBA on your team. You definitely can win the championship. The only thing is, I'm not ready to put them over teams like the Nets, Lakers, or Suns, and the Bucks, who are all teams that have shown how good they can be. We have not seen the Warriors play with this unit, but at least in the regular season. So I'm not ready to just jump the gun and like put them over the Suns, because the Suns literally made the finals last year, if you didn't know, and they have the exact same roster this upcoming season. Definitely not ready to put them over the Bucks. They won the championship. Not ready to put them over the Lakers, because we've seen in the past that the Lakers have won the championship. championship. Not really put them over the Nets because they're the Nets, but nonetheless, definitely think the Warriors are gonna have a really good season. They should be excited about their future. Even though I don't really like the Warriors, I can't deny that. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you are not watching 200,000 subscribers. Also, in the comments videos, I do respond to all of my comments.